All right, everyone, time for What's the Buzz? Today we are talking about the big changes schools here in Michigan and across the country are experiencing. Joining us today are Kim Trent, writer and regent at Wayne State University, Ramona Prater, a media and marketing specialist, and Jason Hall, the co-founder of Slow Roll Detroit. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, guys.
Welcome, welcome.
Hey,
Jason,
what's going on?
Look at that. That was magic.
Magically appeared.
I almost left the studio to go start working out so I can wear my black t-shirt.
That's all it takes. All right, that's all it takes. Awesome.
So there's big frustrations in parenting right now, right?
Yeah.
One of the biggest ones is the new math. Anybody familiar with that? Had experience?
I'm not familiar with the old math. I wasn't proficient with the old math, so this is a.
This is what it looks like,
Yeah.
okay? And here is a subtraction. Oh no, this is an addition problem. So teachers say that it's more focused on the theory to solving problems as opposed to like the functions, right?
So
now,
I'm one of the.
Go ahead.
Can I
go
just say,
ahead.
because I have a third
Yeah.
grader, I'm actually one of the parents who kind of likes the new math.
Really?
I am. You know why? Because the old math really isn't working. We're consistently at the bottom of the list for math proficiency in the industrialized world. And I mean, just because we were taught one way doesn't mean it was the right way. So I really just go into it with an open mind.
Yeah.
First of all, I wasn't really that great with the old math. I mean, I was okay with it, but I wasn't, you know, I wasn't like a superstar with math. So I almost feel like I'm learning a new, you know, when I sit down with my son, you know, it's definitely not the way that I learned math, but, you know, I see the logic in it sometimes, and I'm like, oh, okay, this is, you know, I'll go with this. If there's an approach that doesn't seem like it makes sense, then, you know, I'll say, well, you know, this is how we learned it. And, you know, I'm not afraid to show him the old way, but I don't necessarily assume that the way I learned it was the right way.
There's always a new way, though, or a progressive
Yeah.
way. When I was a kid in the Plymouth Canton School District, we went to a track system, 9 weeks on, 3 weeks off for attendance, and the grades were check, check plus, and check minus. There was no A, B, C, D, or F. So, I mean,
I'm not opposed to change.
Right.
It's,
Right.
only if change for no reason. If there are studies that support that this is a better way to learn math, absolutely. It's just I don't know it, and thank God my kids are in high school and they have an older brother who's an engineer. They can call him for algebra and stuff.
Right, yeah.
So I'm not in the third grade. I'm not in that demographic where you have to learn it to be able to help. Thank God.
I mean, it challenges me as a parent,
I
for
can
sure.
imagine.
Because,
It is challenging. I tried to help my friend's daughter figure it out. And we're like, we're two people, 4 college degrees between us, and we're like, we don't get this.
But that's the exciting time of learning for all of us. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. I love the evolution of everything.
Yes.
And we're talking about old math. I mean, that's old. That was beyond our time that we were talking about. So I think it's definitely time as a generation that we say, let's look at this a different way
If it makes
and
it more
move our
proficient
kids into a different place.
I'm with it. I'm not closed.
And what if you just can't help your kids? Then what?
Tutor.
Tutor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
oh,
Cousins,
speaking
big
of
brothers.
which, there's a Starbucks by our house, and I don't go in there frequently, but whenever I do, the place is absolutely crushed and crowded with tutors and students.
Yeah.
There's literally nobody in there just drinking coffee, socializing. Every table is a kid with a tutor.
Trying to learn some new math.
New math.
Period.
They're good for Starbucks anyway.
The new math. How much is a latte?
Exactly.
Calculate the sales tax. Okay,
Exactly.
so a topic of conversation lately in schools is doing away with homework. Now we've all seen the interesting documentaries on Netflix about countries in Europe where they don't have any homework and are kicking our butts, right, in math and science. What do you guys think about this?
I think if it works, I have the same philosophy about the math. If it's working, and there's studies that prove that kids are going to I think it's compared to the new offices. You used to have to kind of work 9 to 5, 40 hours a week, and now when bosses say, hey, just get the work done, however you turn it in. If you're here 3 days and gone 4 days, that's okay. And it makes our employees more proficient and happy to be here, and they're more productive. And if it does the same thing for students when it comes to homework, I'm with it.
Okay.
I don't know, man. I think you have to look at it all as a whole. In Europe, the family structure is different. So like you're saying, we're taking homework away so they can be with their family. But in America, that might not be there. So if we're taking away homework, what are we really doing for that child? As opposed to, I like the responsibility aspect of taking something home, making sure you bring it back.
Right.
Yeah.
But okay, as I sat down with my son as a college educated person, not all parents really have that ability. So I think that there's a balance. I actually like extracurricular activities, kind of experiential learning where my son does Lego class where he's learning a lot of the principles that you would learn in a math class, but he's not, doing his multiplication tables or something.
Right.
So I think that it's just all about finding that balance as a parent. But I do think that you do have to have some kind of way to make sure that the parents who don't have the ability to really help their children with home work, because a lot of times it's really more of a reflection of what your parents know than it is with children.
Right, I think what they try to do with the no homework thing is they try to flip it, right? So they try to say you're learning and practicing at school, and you might do like a little revision where you're home. So parents don't necessarily have to feel this pressure.
Well, we just got Gia into her first year of kindergarten, and we went for the first parents' night to meet the teacher. Kindergarten already. And the teacher said, okay, so no homework this year because we want the child to spend time with you and sit down and have dinner with you and so on and so forth. Okay, and you could sense a palpable wave of relief in the room. Because I remember one time last year when Gia in preschool brought home a 7-page homework packet for the week.
Look at that, preschool.
So, but here's the thing, homework happened after all. She came home the other day and she actually had a little worksheet that she had to do. So and it wasn't long. She did it herself. We got it done in 10 minutes, and it was a happy medium between no homework and too much.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
I agree with Kim. Find a balance.
Find a balance.
Find
all
a
right.
balance.
The next topic. What do you think about this one?
Is it a bad idea to pay kids for good grades? Are you opening Pandora's box if you start paying for grades?
I'm going to jump right on that. Justin, my 28-year-old, had a life skills class at David Ellis Academy here in Detroit, and they gave them like $80,000 for A, 70 for B, whatever. It was like a salary based on your GPA. And it totally taught him that if you want a 2-bedroom apartment in downtown Detroit for $1,300, you have to make this kind of
That's brilliant. That's genius.
It was a life skills class, and I think it changed his life. He's doing very well. He lives in LA on his own. He's doing very well. He's an engineer for Snapchat. But I think in large part due to that life skills class, and the money was the motivator. It was. So I don't think it's bad at all.
But it's a...
No, I'm dealing with I think there's a reward system, but it doesn't have to be necessarily pay. You know what I mean? I think you can reward a child with experiences that are just as valuable as the cash. I grew up getting money rewards, and that kind of skewed my view of how going into things. When I was a kid, I always was like, what's the money aspect, not what's I get out of this.
I think you can teach that as an aside, though. So I do agree with you that money should not motivate us for everything, because we have to volunteer, we have to help people. That's a part of human nature. It should be. So that can be taught as an aside, but I do believe that having a goal and not just giving kids stuff.
That too. Then there's the other side of it.
Yeah.
I think the name of the game is balance,
I think
right?
Balance. We have achieved balance.
Hashtag balance.
Right.
Ramona, Kim, Jason, thank you guys so much for being here.